keep getting farther away from him.
Well, there's a couple of folks that I'd like to thank, first of all. One is Coach Look. I don't think our players actually know this. So Coach Look volunteered his time this entire season to be out with these guys. And I can say that we would not have been able to do the things that we did this year if he wasn't a part of this coaching staff and just being a positive mentor in these guys' lives. So from the bottom of my heart, I am thankful to this guy and the work he does. I can also say that I have never been able to work with a group of parents that are as high quality than I did this year. You guys have been absolutely awesome. So I am blessed as a coach to work with such fine young men that I know are a product of your guys' grace. So nice job getting them to be who they are, because it sure is a joy for me to be a part of their lives. And for all of the support that parents had for coming out and supporting their sons and being just positive for our whole team, not just their sons, but for the teammates as well. So thank you to you parents as well. So I need to tell you a little bit about this team. Every year I wrestle with the team approach like this or the individual approach, and I feel like this has definite advantages because I can tell you that there are some individuals on this team that really shine. And there's some guys who have supporting roles, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is that we are a team. So these guys had a 12-6 league record, which puts us in the upper half. I'm guessing 3 or 4. There's actually not anywhere that you can find out the wins and losses records for other freshman teams. So I know ours, and I know where a couple other teams stood when we played them the last week. So I think that we are in the upper half for sure, and then 3-4 is my guess. But that 12-6 record doesn't tell you what you need to know about this team. Do you guys remember what our record was after the first week? It was not so good. Do you remember what it was after the second week? It was not much better. It was not much better after 2 weeks. And we had kind of I don't know, it was just a good, real conversation after one of our games about what we wanted our season to look like. And these guys decided, without my prompting, without Coach Look's prompting, that they were not going to be satisfied with something less than their best. And so they committed to working hard and to getting better and to battle, regardless of the score of any game. And I can say that these guys know how to battle. They, at no point in the season, gave up. I still smile every time I think about it, but our game against me in high school, where we scored 3 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, and had a walk-off win against those guys. And how good that was. So these guys, I'll tell you right now that they will not give up, which I love about them. They are also extremely intelligent. Okay, the baseball sense that they exhibited on a day-to-day basis was pretty incredible. It became somewhat of a hobby of mine to try and create practice plans that were so complex that these guys wouldn't be able to do them, and I was not able to do that. So at points during the season, we had a double-barrel bullpen BP going on, so 2 guys under Big Bubba, Coach Look and I throwing behind 2 L screens. It is not safe, by the way. Yeah, you probably already knew that. I didn't know that. Almost got drilled with a ball in the head. And while that was going on, we had guys getting grounders thrown across the diamond, guys getting fly balls in the outfield, all of this going on at once. The intent, of course, being that every single guy is busy getting better at practice. And that's something that, I could spend 4 hours making a really complex practice plan, but if guys don't buy in, it doesn't mean anything. So these guys bought in, and I know that they, because of their work effort, got a lot better this season, which for me as a coach is very satisfying. So a lot of props to these guys as groups. The stat sheet that all you guys get is thanks to Mark Leese, who was diligent and kept score. Thank you, sir. So this, as a coach, is an easy copy and paste for me. So sorry, JV guys, if you got the handwritten jig down. So that's what I want to talk about with these guys as a group. I want to talk about a couple guys individually, though. There are 2 awards that the players vote on. You know that. It's the most improved and most inspirational awards. The slip that I sent out to guys during the day so that they could vote and turn their ballot back into me said a couple things. I asked for them to identify the guy who, throughout the season, worked hard, got better every day, and elevated his level of play throughout the season. That one was, I had 5 different guys get votes in there, which says a lot about these individuals as a group. But the guy who was hands down the winner of that isn't even here tonight. It's Dylan Mead. A good guy, if you know him, and I can tell you that as the season went on, I would hit him on less quality fly balls in the hopes that I could make him miss. And so we're out there doing practice, and I'm shanking them, and I'm putting them short, and I'm trying to hit him over his head, just in the efforts to try and hit a ball that he can't catch. I knew he was fast going into the season, and you guys know that too. But as far as outfielders that I have coached, his ability to track and catch a ball at day 1 to the end of the season is a radical change. So, fellas, when you see him, you need to also shake his hand, because I know many of you voted for him, but also extend your compliments to him in person too. So, anyways, Dylan Mead. Here's a tough one. The other award, the most inspirational award, the instructions on the ballot said, vote for the guy who is always encouraging you and helping you play your best, which it was a landslide, to be honest with you. So, as a coach, there's kids that you get to work with that, just impact you in a special way. So, I was not surprised at all that this young man won. It was impressive to me because he is also a very skilled player, but he's also able to be, the kind of supportive teammate that really brings out the best in those guys around him. So, anyway, Bailey O'Connor. Okay, so, gosh, I thought that was hard, and I don't even think that was the hardest one for me to talk about. So, the Mr. Baseball Award is one that I wrestled with, honestly, for several days, because we have a lot of guys up here that I think very highly of. And a lot of guys who know the game, who love the game, who respect the game, and who are good teammates. So when I think about Mr. Baseball in Mount Spokane, I'm not thinking about the best athlete necessarily. I'm thinking about the kid that displays, that grit, kind of embodies that I will not ever give up type attitude, which, as a guy who's not very big and not very strong myself, I really put a lot of stock in that sort of thing because, those character traits I think have served me well in life, and I try and bring that out in players too. So someone who has the intestinal fortitude to move on, even when things aren't great. So with that framework, I started thinking about anecdotes throughout the season. And the player that I'm going to talk about and who received this award had a lot of success this season, but I'm actually going to tell a story about one of his failures, because I think that tells you more about him. We're playing Lewis and Clark. It's the second time we faced them. They beat us pretty handily the first time. And it's early in the game, and this player gets down in the count. It was 1-2. He's in there, and the pitcher snaps off this beautiful 12-6 curveball that I have no idea where it came from, but it's something you don't see very often in freshman baseball. I mean, this pitch was beautiful. I'm standing over by third base and my knees buckled, right? I mean, it was that good of a curveball. So I see my hitter, low like he's getting ready, and then he identifies it as a ball that's going to hit him in the head. He kind of shrinks a little bit, and at the last second, this ball just falls off the table and falls right in there for a called third strike. And I'm thinking, that's a good pitch. And the umpire rings up my player, and my player goes and runs off to the dugout. And that small little gesture right there, I saw something, okay? Because what is typical is, you know, a guy looking back at the umpire and, you know, thinking, oh, that's not a strike, that's not a good pitch, or saying something to me as a coach of, hey, that was inside or low, you know, trying to shift blame, I guess. You know, and I think that we do that a lot in life. Like, I think that there's times in life where, you know, we're down in the count and maybe things are stacked against us, and as adults, you guys know this, sometimes life just snaps off a beautiful curveball that you're not ready for, and it kind of catches you off guard. And next thing you know, you're rung up, and you're like, okay, sweet, we just failed. That's awesome, you know. But that's life, you know, like, that happens. And this happened to that player. So rather than trying to shift blame or anything else, he nods his cap, said, yep, that's a good pitch, hustles off to the dugout, and the next at bat, he got on base, he stole, came around and scored. His next at bat, he got hit, stole a base, came around and scored. It's like that small little gesture right there that really probably no one even noticed. It says a lot about who this kid has been and being able to bounce back from adversity and things that are tough. So, Wyatt Baker, I'm extremely proud of you.
Wyatt Baker.